Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would just caution members. I've heard my name several times invoked. Members, please be careful using this. The context of the comments that I made were in relationship to a hearing as the chairman of the Oversight Committee that I conducted. The hearing that we conducted in oversight was about the finances of Planned Parenthood. We didn't get into the content of what they do. We didn't get into the content of the video. We didn't get into the practices that they do. We didn't get into the fetal body tissue issues. We didn't do that. We were very narrowly focused on the finances. The point we were making is that Planned Parenthood had revenue of $127 million more than their expenses. And we started to look as a nonprofit organization on what people were making and how they were spending that money. They were sending money overseas. They were spending money and giving it to political organizations. They were have a lot of shared services. I think that's a legitimate question as we look at the finances of an organization that is structured as a nonprofit organization. I was asked a direct question about the finances. That's the way I took the question, given that that's what the direction and the drive of the hearing was about. Did we find any wrongdoing? The answer was no.
Would the gentleman
But to suggest, I will in just one moment. Just let me finish that thought. It is inappropriate to suggest that I have come to some grand conclusion about every part of their operation. We did in the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, we did subpoena the videos. We have some of those videos in the safe. We have jointly worked with the Democrats on that. We had a court ruling earlier this week to get the rest of those videos. There was a temporary restraining order in California that would not release those videos. The judge recently ruled in our favor. Those videos are now being sent to Congress. They may have arrived in the last few hours. I'm just not aware of it. And then I will work with Elijah Cummings and figure out the best course on what to do with these videos. But just caution to members that it's a bit of a stretch to say that I have done some conclusive investigation on all the actions of Planned Parenthood. Did I look at the finances and have a hearing specifically as to the revenue portion and how they spend? Yes. Was there any wrongdoing? I didn't find any. But I do think it's a legitimate question for all of us. Why do we send money to an organization where the revenues exceed their expenses by $127 million? It doesn't sound like an organization that needs to be supplemented by taxpayer dollars. Well, that was my point, and I'm happy to yield.
For question, yes. I just want to ask Representative whether or not you have any evidence whatsoever that Planned Parenthood has broken the law in any way.
I think some of the video that's been out there, the rumors that have been swirling, some of the testimony that we've heard causes a lot of people to legitimately ask and dive into whether or not what they're doing is illegal. I think it's a very legitimate question from an objective point of view without getting the emotions of it. And so I think there will continue to be investigations. I voted in favor of the Select Committee, which I think does have to go further and dive deeper into those issues. But I don't think that the final chapter has been written on that. My point was that we were talking about specifically about the finances. And I would remind members, there were all this criticism we were going after women, and that is so false. What is the first not-for-profit organization that we went after in the Oversight and Government Reform Committee? It was the NFL. I called out the NFL. They were structured as a not-for-profit organization. We called out Roger Goodell for making an exorbitant salary and taking advantage of the tax code. And you know what? The NFL, to their credit, restructured. And for the first time, I believe it started in July, the 1st of July, they are now no longer a not-for-profit organization. So in a very bipartisan way, with Elijah Cummings and the Democrats, we worked on that issue and made a major transformation, a major change. And I think looking at another not-for-profit organization who's taking a lot, hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money, that's a legitimate decision in the context of an $18+ trillion debt. And that's the discussion we had. I'm proud of it, and I think we had a very good hearing. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.